Good morning, everyone. It's Nick from Claret and Booze. Hope you're all feeling a bit better today. I feel a bit better after last night. You know, the show that we did. I always do. Thought I was going to have a heart attack in the first 6 minutes of that show yesterday, but I had to get it off my chest. So apologies if I made anyone's ears bleed. I know that pretty much we're all aligned on this now. There's no reason to preach to the converted. I think pretty much everyone is singing from the same hymn sheet now, which is good. And it is good because, like I say, I believe in people power, and I do believe that the fact that the fan base has been divided on this issue, that has given the board reason to pick a side. Well, to pick a side that suits them, which they can do. And it's very difficult to ignore something when everyone is on board with. But look, before we get into the show, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit that bell notification icon and drop a like on the video as well, please. It does really help us. Back to tonight's show. I've never known, because obviously we do a post-match phone-in, and I've never known such a response, which kind of tells you how people are feeling at the moment. Everyone wanted to have their say, and unfortunately, I was a bit gutted. I'm not exaggerating. There must have been 80 to 100 phone calls, and I could only pick up a handful of them. So somebody pointed out in the chat, perhaps I should change the banner down the bottom, because I haven't got a switchboard. Literally, all I've got is a phone, and I can take one call at a time. And yeah, I was gutted, because I'd like to be able to just run it and let everybody have their say, but unfortunately I couldn't yesterday. So please, thanks for everyone that participated. Thanks for everyone that phoned in. Please don't be deterred. Phone in again. There's a couple of people that have texted and left their names and everything else. So what we'll do is we'll reach out to you on the before the next show, and we'll give you a call first to sort of get you on. So yeah, really good response from all you lot. Thanks for the support. But no, sort of reflecting on everything now. I don't really want to reflect on the game so much. I think we kind of there's not much to review. I think we covered it all yesterday, and I completely back up everything that I said on the game anyway. Not that we covered it in much detail. There wasn't really much, was there? I do think that we were okay in the first half. We certainly weren't in threat. We weren't under any threat from Spurs. But the second half, it all just fell to pieces. And I can't help but believe, I know that we're getting people now that are sort of going out there blaming players. And I get that. I do get it, because it's frustration. But for me, I don't blame any player for being uninspired by that guy, because I'm uninspired. I can't imagine being a player playing for him. They're all top quality professionals. They all know that they should be doing so much better than they are as well. It must be really starting to grind on them, the fact that they are being held back by this guy. And you saw that in the post-match interview with Declan Rice. I didn't see it yesterday because we came live straight after the game. Not straight after, because there's a few other shows that come on, and we like to give them breathing space first. But yeah, Declan Rice came out, and he was critical. He was critical of David Moyes, and it was criticism as well. He said it's very difficult to score with the way that we set up, with 5 at the back and 3 in front. The 2 forwards are isolated. They don't get enough support. That's scathing criticism from the club captain. That's something that David Moyes will hate, and I'm glad that he's done it. I'm glad that Declan Rice has done it. I think it's too late, too little, too late, but it's a sign that the worm is starting to turn internally, and I don't think this should even be a discussion now. To arrive at the point that we've arrived at. After 23 games, to be in the bottom 3, we scored 19 goals or something like that. We've got a minus 10 goal difference. We've won 5 games in that period, in 23 games. And you've got to think that we need at least a minimum of 5 wins out of the next 15 for us to stay, to be in with a chance of staying up. Where are they going to come from? Where are these wins going to come from? I've been saying it for ages as well. Second part of the season is going to be tougher for us compared to everyone else, because we've got the European Conference League fixtures that are coming up. We're going to be playing Thursday, Sunday football soon. Our players are dropping like flies already. It is such a concern, and it's going to be so difficult now for anybody that comes in. But at least what I'm certain of is that if we keep David Moyes, we're not going to survive. So I think the only option is to move away from him. Sticking with him till the summer and then going again is no longer a viable option. It's not because we're going to go down with a whimper. We are. We're 2 points off bottom. Southampton are playing Leeds next weekend. So unless it's a draw, we're going to drop down another place if we don't beat Forest. And we are arriving at the point now. I mean, even Gary, yesterday. I mean, we talk about that before the game. When it comes to match day, we all want the team to win. We do. But you do start to think about the greater good scenario at the moment. You do start to think now, Nottingham Forest, if we get a draw or scrape a win at Nottingham Forest, which is a must-win game for our season, it's a moral dilemma to a degree now. It is, because we've come this far. The club are actually starting to make supporters almost crave a defeat just to get rid of him for the greater good. Now, how bad is that? To actually arrive at a point where sensible supporters are thinking, do you know what? I know we need this win, but if we lose, I think it's better for us. That shows you how strong the feeling is. We're in the bottom three, and people would almost accept a loss against a relegation rival, which Forest still are. They're only 5 points off us, because it would mean that we could move on. But I ran a poll last night. I've run a few polls over time, but you know what? I've never done one in. I've never done one after a loss. I've always run a poll when people have started to sort of flip back the other way, and you start getting the old, we've turned a corner. People start coming out. I'll get frustrated, and I'll run a poll. And normally you get around about 60 to 70%. And this was a result of the poll that I ran last night. So as you can see, 92.7%. And also it's Twitter as well. I know that we had an invasion of Spurs supporters yesterday, so I'm not saying that there aren't 7.3% of those votes are all West Ham fans, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's a few in there that are rogue votes as well. But look, nonetheless, even with that, 92.7% out of 725 votes, that's overwhelming, It really is, and that is going to be a reflection throughout the fan base. It is. Why are we waiting for Nottingham Forest? Why have we got to wait that long? It's, as Gary said yesterday, this should be given to someone. This game should be given to someone because it's a winnable fixture. It'd be the perfect springboard for a new manager to come in and give them a winnable game, get us off on the front foot. But the way that the board are probably going to look at it, and we know this, is they'll see it as a way for David Moyes to save himself again. But David Moyes has proven already this season that when he saves himself, it's a dead cat bounce. We end up back at the same point. And each time it gets worse because we're running out of games this season. This is the third time we've been in the bottom three. We're not moving away from it. And it's only going to get worse, as I said earlier on, with the fixture congestion, with the fact that we've got players that are so important to us. They're so fragile that they're not going to cope with 2 games a week. They're just not. I know if you look at it yesterday, we've got players on the bench that are coming back. So yeah, we should be feeling a little bit buoyed by that, but I'm not, because the way that David Moyes is setting up, I mean, away at Spurs, who last week got beat 4-1. By Leicester. Leicester went 1-0 down. They came back. They steamrolled them 4-1. It could have been more. They actually scored 5. But Harvey Barnes' his first goal got chalked off. And we didn't even lay a glove on them. We didn't lay a glove on them. And this is Spurs. And one of the reasons that Leicester scored that many goals was because Tottenham's keeper is not great at the moment. Fraser Forster, because Lloris is out. Forster, you've got to be taking pot shots at him. It felt like every shot that Leicester hit was going in. What do you have? One save to make? 2? No, yeah, one save. It was just after they scored their first goal. Bowen goes down the other end. That was it. That was a one shot on target. And the most damning stat is that from the last 3 games, we've had 4 shots on target against Newcastle, Chelsea, and Tottenham. we're not going to win enough games, not with that mentality. Like I say, when you're in the relegation zone, I said this yesterday, you've got to treat every game as if it's a cup final because you have to go out with the mindset of winning. Winning is that's the prize of 3 points. You need 3 points. But the way that we're setting up, we're not doing that. We're not doing it. It's like it's damage limitation all the time. So I'll make the plea again a little bit more, in a calmer state than what I was yesterday. David Sullivan, please do the right thing. Save our club. Save your club. Save your investment. Get rid of him. Mistakes have been made. He's been kept on for too long. Shit happens. But at the moment, I still don't think it's too late. But it's going to become that way. Please get rid of him. You have backed him. You've given him 300 million to spend in the last 3 years. This is enough. If he had credit in a bank, he's more than spent it. He's now in debt. Okay, get rid of him. Even if you can't get someone else in, put Noble in charge, put Nolan in charge, bring Irvine back. Anyone, just get rid of him. Get us through to the end of the season. Remove that cloud from that club because we've got a talented team, a really talented team. And I do believe, personally, that just by removing that bad influence, I think we're going to see an uplift. I think we'll see an uplift. We'll see better performances. You'll see players with the shackles off, enjoying themselves. That's what we need. A couple of wins, everything will feel better. But at this rate, we're just not going to get out of this mess. We're not going to get out of this mess. So let me know what you lot think in the chat anyway. I know what most people think. I do. We could gauge that yesterday. It was overwhelming really. The amount of people that have now finally sort of flipped the other way. I think that's it. I think people have had enough. So why wait for the Nottingham Forest game? Why give him another chance to save himself? Why do that? He's proven now that he can't do the job. He's also proven that he can do just enough to save himself. But saving himself isn't necessarily going to save West Ham. It's the opposite. Him saving himself, I think, spells the end for us in the Premier League. So yeah, please, just get shot, get rid, remove him. All right, okay. Look, anyway, that's it from me. I just wanted to give a little bit of a calmer perspective. Same message, but not as ranty, not as sweary as it was yesterday. So look, that's it from me. John, Gary, and myself will be back later in the week. We'll also be doing the Boozecast. And if anything does develop, any news does develop this week, the news that we all want to hear. Let's face it, we all want to hear it. Then we'll jump back on as well. We'll jump back on to celebrate because I will be celebrating as well. I've got no. Yeah, you can call it bad taste. I don't care. I'm going to jump for joy when that man is sacked. I am. He's been here too long. But anyway, look, that's it from me. Enjoy the rest of your week. Try to anyway. Things can't get much worse. They can't get much worse. They can only get better, I think. So yeah, come on you irons.